Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
Yes, that is. I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it.
Yeah, like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to our podcast below in the description. Get on it. Do it now.
Okay, John. Peter King has reported that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan will attend Mac Jones's extra pro day on Tuesday, while Adam Peters, 49ers front office, actually elevated the GM, right, is going to attend the Ohio State Justin Fields pro day. And this all comes at the same time that people kind of spent the weekend saying the opposite of what you and I said on Friday, which was, Mac Jones would be good for the Niners, including Kyle Shanahan's good friend, Chris Sims. Now, I have to tell you, if I'm the 49ers right now, I've got a month until the draft. Monday is a month until the draft. They have a month. I would be holding my breath because they're not drafting second. They're drafting third. And maybe they think they know what the Jets will do. Maybe they know what the Jets think they're going to do. But until they are on the clock, they have to be holding their breath. I view this smokescreen.
I saw Dan Orlovsky. I had to look it up because it didn't even sound right when I thought about it. But he also said Mac Jones. He played for Kyle for a year in Houston. I was like, did he play for the Browns? When did he play for Kyle? He didn't play in the Niners. And I looked, he played for Houston for a year. He thought that Mac Jones, he reiterated that he thought that would also be a good fit. That does have a lot of people on edge, and rightfully so. My personal belief is you can't take Mac Jones at number 3 overall. But, there's two ways to look at this. You can say that they're doing a smokescreen, they're trying to throw a curveball here and trying to make everyone think they're all in on Mac Jones, because the Mac Jones snowball is flying down the hill, and it went from a little snowball. It does feel like an avalanche right now. And I think this now feels like the avalanche is unstoppable when they go, the casual fan is like, well, you got two options. You go see Justin Fields or you go see Mac Jones. And when you said, or maybe Peter split the baby or whatever, to me, splitting the baby is like John goes to one, Kyle goes to the other. Not Adam. I don't know if he's a GM. He's got one of those titles as president, vice president, 6 different times. It's like vice president of the president. I was like, he's just whatever.
You're assistant general manager. I thought he got a VP of player personnel.
I think he just got his 7th raise.
Oh, okay. I thought he got a new title with that. He might
love to get him on the podcast sometime. Maybe we'll, after the draft, get his opinion on some of these players.
Assistant GM is what he is now.
Sending him to Ohio State and sending those two does feel like, well, are those two doing this on purpose? Or are they going there? And as we talked before we hit record, is the quarterback collective. What I'm still not exactly sure what that is. It's this camp that Kyle puts on with all these other sweet coaches. Justin Fields has been at. We know for a fact Kyle Shanahan and Justin Fields, first name basis, they've met, they've been around each other. I think it's fair to say, because just a year ago, halfway through the season last year when Tua was healthy, unless you're now Alabama's fan base is massive, so they knew who Mac Jones was. People in the SEC probably knew who their backup quarterback was. The casual football fan had never heard of Mac Jones, right? And then a year later, even coming into this season, I'd say Mac Jones was viewed as probably a mid-round prospect or whatever. Now he is just viewed as a top 10 player. It's not crazy to think those two guys, especially Kyle, has met Justin Fields, you would want to go meet Mac Jones, right?
Yeah,
just on a due diligence, doing your work, meet the guy. Now,
it's very possible, as we're all talking about, they are, they won't, they should, or they shouldn't, that they've never even talked to him until Tuesday.
Well, I don't think Kyle more than likely ever has, right?
Unless he's had him at some camp or something.
There was no combine. He was an underclassman, so he wasn't at the Senior Bowl. Kyle didn't even go to the Senior Bowl. I just think it's fair. Maybe Kyle's like, can we meet the guy? Now, I do think there's a huge element of fucking with everybody. And as you would know, and I think people on the outside have learned over these last couple of years is, you can play the media like a fiddle here. And I think it behooves you in draft time to just, especially when you're, I think at 15, who really cares? I think sometimes it's overvalued. What are the Raiders doing at 19? It's well, there's 18 other options. There's so much other going on. But at 1, 2, 3, and I'm not even trying to shit on the Raiders, but it does, like, the Niners don't control their own destiny, right? So could the Jets trade with somebody? Who knows? Like, you want people to view your operation as taking Mac Jones, because I think it's fair to say no one else will want Mac Jones over the other, like, 4 guys.
Yes, you want Atlanta. Let's just say a specific team name. You want Atlanta, who's drafting 4th, to think, because I think they would scare me because they'd be an easy team for the Jets to trade with. You want Atlanta, who's drafting 4th, to think they don't have to move ahead of you if they want to draft a quarterback.
But what if they were taking Zach Wilson? Like, is it okay to assume that Trevor Lawrence is just out of the picture, right? He won, we all know it. Urban Meyer admitted so, not that he needed to Peter King. If you just had the board ranked for the Niners, there might be a chance that Zach Wilson is not their number 1 quarterback on the non-Trevor Lawrence group, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's Trey Lance.
Look,
and let's use Trey Lance as an example. If Trey Lance is your guy, you by no means want that out, because, like you said, what if Atlanta loves Trey Lance too? And the Jets were open-minded. They're like, shit, we're going to keep Sam Darnold, trade back to 4, get an extra 2, and boom, we get Penei Sewell and an extra second.
Or maybe they like Fields. Maybe they think you like Lance and they like Fields. Whatever. I don't know. But I would be on the edge of my seat for a month if I'm then, because you have paid the price here. And, yeah, maybe there's 2 guys you like. Maybe there's 2. And so maybe you'll end up with one of those guys. I don't know. But
I do believe they are confident that they're going to get the guy they like, but there is still some unknown as long as the Jets situation is up in the air, regardless what they've even told the Niners brass, right?
Yeah. Yep. Because, again, they might have told you something, but it's a month before the draft. So right now, all that is what they think they're going to do. It's not what they've done. Until they've done it, you're not on the clock, and your guy is still at risk.
Well, I'll give you the other curveball, too. Like, let's say the Jets are like, yeah, we're pretty certain we're going to take Zach Wilson and trade Sam Darnold, but we're still internally having these discussions. On the other line is the Dolphins, like, hey, John, Parag, Kyle, we're either going to do this now or we're not going to do it, right? So you like, what are you going to do? Well, we're waiting for Robert Saleh to really give us his plans. Like, hey, the deal's on the table now. We got to trade with the Eagles. We're going to be able to move it. We'll do it right now, but you got 30 minutes or we're not moving. Here's
the other thing. Tell me if I'm crazy on this. We just saw Deshaun Watson was going to hold out or be on another team, and now it's like, who knows if he's going to play football. We got a month. I don't know if somebody's going to get in a scooter accident. I don't know if somebody's going to get hurt at their pro day. I don't know. It hasn't happened yet, which all this sounds crazy unless it's your money sitting there. Like, every team that wins a game that you almost bet on, it's obvious unless it's your $5,000 sitting on the game, unless it's your life savings. Then they put their life savings into this trade, John. That's what they did. Yeah. Their life savings. So, you want as many people to not know what you're doing. Now, look, here's the one thing I'll say that's different than what I said Friday. If they like Mac Jones the best, then that's who they should draft. Now, we think there are things that Kyle has said that would lead us to believe he would like a more athletic quarterback. We think that he should like a more athletic quarterback. We think if you're going to pay this premium, that you wouldn't have had to go up to this point to get Mac Jones, right? You could have paid maybe a lesser price, not gone as high, and gotten this guy. But if that's who they like the most, then that's what you should do.
I'm going to read you a text. I was reaching out to a guy who's like a college director, scouting director in the NFL, who's done Alabama and just the main schools for years, knows all the top guys. I said, would 3 be insane? Again, this is when the Mac Jones, probably like late Friday, maybe even Saturday, when it's like, they're taking Mac Jones. That's what it felt like on the internet. I said, would 3 be insane? He said, there is no such thing as reaching for a quarterback. You either think he's a good starter or he's a backup. There's not a middle ground with quarterbacks. You either take him at 1, or you wouldn't take him. You shoot your bullet, whatever your pick is. And it's kind of true, right? There is a value to, like for example, if you're the Jets and you're like, I'll keep Sam Darnold, I'll take Penei Sewell at 2, but if I get back to 4 or 5 and I can still get him, like with a quarterback, if you think he's your guy, and listen, I don't, but if Kyle does it matter if you take him at 1, if you take him at 7, if you take him at 3? No, it does not. That's back to what you say about Mac Jones. I think the thing that makes everyone nervous is like, it's not possible. His upside is not comparable to these other guys. I watched some Trey Lance YouTube today. The guy was fucking running around like he's Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, his upside's not. But like, what are the if I told you got 3 quarterbacks, the least athletically superior of the 3 happened to be at Alabama, won a national title, almost won the Heisman, or was one of the leaders for the finalists for the Heisman, whatever. If I just laid that scenario out for you, you'd go, it seems reasonable. I wouldn't bet on him, but it's possible that guy turns out to be the best quarterback of a group of 3. When one of them played a game at North Dakota State,
yeah.
And
I mean, Tebow won the Heisman and Johnny Manziel won the Heisman.
Yeah, no. The Heisman is not the. I'm just saying, like, if in that scenario, I almost feel like
it'd feel like he's risking his life savings when he could bet on a Facebook or Uber, and he's putting it in like a low return ETF. It'd be a pretty big letdown, I think.
Well, I agree. I'm just saying if he
and it'd be a pretty big indictment on like the way he views, like what he said about Josh Allen wouldn't be true.
Yeah, unless he doesn't think either one of these guys is Josh Allen.
Then he would think. I was listening to some podcast over the weekend, and they had a good point. Like, if I just tell you this guy's Matt Ryan, that's actually not terrible. But like, do people really want to watch Matt Ryan for the next decade?
Well, watch or not. I mean, Matt Ryan's an MVP.
1 year.
So he's an MVP.
He'd happen Cam won.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, he was Kyle Shanahan has taken him to his heights.
He's also had a lot of shitty years, though.
Okay, if I told you they just drafted Matt Ryan, they traded 3 1s for Matt Ryan, you'd go, odds are Kyle Shanahan signing a contract extension.
Yeah, I would say the likelihood that Mac Jones is Matt Ryan probably feels slim to none.
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying if that's what happens.
He traded 3 first rounders.
But now we're getting emotional.
I just don't think you trade 3 first rounders for Matt Ryan.
Look, I agree. But the idea that, like, it's crazy that he thinks Mac Jones will turn in the best NFL quarterback of the group, I don't think he's taken Mac. But I also don't think it's, like, the most insane thing ever that he thinks Mac Jones is going to be better than Trey Lance.
Well, his argument would be like, I thought this guy's going to be a star quarterback, I guess, and he wouldn't be there at 12. So it cost you 3 first rounders and a
you
third.
Would say, well, go to 6. Howie's always willing to trade.
Yeah, that's where it would.
No, I'm with you. I don't think
there'd be a lot of holes. There'd be a lot of holes in their logic to trade up this early for Mac Jones.
I think a lot of this Mac Jones stuff is not real. I'm not buying it. I don't think they draft him.
I would agree.
And, when everyone goes, well, Chris Sims is saying, and they're best friends. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know why you don't want it out?
He want Chris Sims, Mac Jones. That's who they want you to think they're drafting.
Let's just say the name. Let's use Trey Lance for example. You know who wanted no part of it getting out that they were taking Patrick Mahomes? Now, granted, they didn't trade up till draft night or Deshaun Watson. Like, I never heard that Bill O'Brien was in love with Deshaun Watson. And then, boom, they just traded up and got him, right? Or same with Mahomes. Trey Lance, there are probably 3 or 4 teams who are like, fuck, I want Trey Lance, right? I'm just using him as an example. I don't think that many people are like, God, we got to get up and get our guy Mac Jones. So if you leave it out there that it's Mac Jones, you're kind of just, everyone's just not really paying attention to you anymore.
What I love is just like
the pro day really hammers that home. And I also think then you get into people's heads, like they start overthinking it.
I saw Chris Biederman tweet. He had a good tweet. He's like, the idea that anything's going to happen at this pro day that's going to swing them one way or the other, it's not, right?
I think they're going there to meet the kid and probably take him out to dinner or have lunch with him. Like, because that's got a chance to be a story by Wednesday that they had dinner with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
And I'd say that would just lead to more of this, like, oh my, is he really doing it?
I love that it just immediately became like, this is exactly who Kyle would love. It's like, that's the old Kyle.
Because it is. It is the one guy. We've talked about it forever, and he's the one guy that doesn't have anything in common with Justin Fields is running a 4-3. I'm watching Trey Lance. He's like juking and running over guys. Mac Jones has nothing in common with those guys. Not a thing. But when I think Kyle Shanahan, I think Matt Ryan, Matt Schaub, Kirk Cousins. I see Mac Jones. That's why I think a lot of people believe it. It is believable.
It is.
Right?
It's
very believable, honestly.
It is. It absolutely is. I'll still be surprised if that's what happens. Will you be surprised?
No, I'm just taking in information. And right now, no. Because Kyle's in control. Kyle's the guy that gave the go-ahead for the picks. And if he really believed in Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, well, again, if he really believes in this guy, then that's who you take.
Kirk Cousins was a 4th-round pick.
Well, then there's a big difference between that and taking a guy 3rd overall. But I don't think he liked Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins was value. That's not why he loved Kirk Cousins.
Well, that's why I don't want my coaches running the draft, because they trade 3 first-round picks for Kirk Cousins.
All right, we got a month to stress about this.